Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another study of the book Green Light by the Spirit André Luiz through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. Here we are broadcasting to you this amazing book that gives us a roadmap, tips and tricks, practical tips and tricks on how to deal with many different instances in our lives. And today, the chapter is titled, as you see on the screen, Antagonists. How many times we go about our day thinking that people are opposing us, or in reverse, we are going about our day and others see us as their adversaries or antagonists. So let's see what André Luiz has to tell us. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. André Luiz says, quote, the opponent who you consider a model of perversity, perhaps is only a sick person needing understanding. We should recognize that to us, very often, a person seems unworthy just because they do not share our points of view, unquote, for now. So he's talking about how many times we are ourselves as sick people in need of understanding. We are tired, we are ill, we are focusing on our problems, not necessarily on going about our day serving others. And then we are the exact sick person who others may see as having this amount of evil inside of themselves, perversity. So sometimes when we see people that oppose our points of views, he's saying we might see them as unworthy, but just because they don't agree with us. So it's a very important point of, yes, there are facts, there are instances of bringing about truth, bringing about data, but then people have the right to have their opinions as well. So sometimes when we have opponents, when we think differently, Andrea Luiz is just reminding us we may be in need of understanding, or those folks may be sick and also in need of understanding. And he continues, quote, never despise the opponent, no matter how weak they seem. Let's respect our enemies as they might unearth some truths that we do not know of yet, even some truths about ourselves, unquote. So the people we don't like, more often than not, we see in them things that we don't like in ourselves, and therefore we don't like them as well. When someone opposes us in our workplaces, in our homes, in our spiritual centers, sometimes they're bringing to light something that is worth of consideration, according to André Luiz. They might unearth some truths that we don't know. Sometimes we have our blind spots. We mean well, we want to do well, but then we don't. And when we are antagonized or criticized by others, and it seems to be a pattern, we have to stop and look at what we are doing. Is it really for the good? Am I doing the best I can? Is it the best intention that I can have? So on and so forth. Now, what if those antagonists do something to hurt us? That's what André Luiz is going to tell us next. Quote, if anybody has hurt you, forgive them immediately, thereby stopping evil as soon as it has started. Criticism of other people will only bring you damage if you allow it to be so. The best way to learn to forgive people's mistakes is to recognize that we are able to make even worse mistakes than theirs, unquote, for now. So here's all about someone says something you don't like, someone criticizes you, you propose a solution and they want to go a different way, or they purposefully hurt us in some way with revenge. He's saying forgive, then we can stop this cycle of hatredness. We can stop evil before it starts, because when we hate others, remember, our thoughts, our emotions, are contagious. Our travels thought all throughout the universe. Those thoughts travel all throughout the universe, says the book Fought in Life by Emmanuel. And then if we criticize others, we bring the image to our own selves because we are tuning with like-minded folks in the criticism of others. So the best thing to do, the hardest, is to forgive and forget. He continues, quote, opponents should be seen, first of all, as our brothers and sisters who have different points of view. Isn't that true? Sometimes we think we have the right to have our own views, and that's what we saw last time when we talked about friends, towards friends, and we need to allow our friends to have their lives and their opinions, of course, helping and guiding, supporting, and leading people to know of God's laws and asking them to consider how their actions align with God's laws as much as ours. Of course, we first start with ourselves and then we are able to look at others that way. Quote, allow people to live their own life and they will allow you to live your life according to your choices. Unquote. What a noble sentiment. Nowadays, we always feel entitled to tell one another what to do and how to go about. Yet, we have to remember that's not a blank card for us to just go and do whatever we want. There are consequences to our actions. And you and I are living as well within the confines of the divine laws. We can choose to break the law, but there are consequences. So the law of society compels us to do the best we can for all of those around us. So my actions your actions have implications in the lives of others. And that's why it's not a blank slate. Go do whatever. Allow them to live their lives, so I'll live mine. But we have to be mindful when I choose something. I might be inadvertently causing harm to another, even if I didn't know. The intent is important, but also we have to make sure we see ourselves as more than the individualistic mentality that we have in our society. You are a unit within your home, your neighborhood, your cities, your states, your countries, and ultimately in the world, in the universe. It's much bigger than we can um, contain in our minds and consider. But then we have to think about, okay, if I do this, even though I have the right to, should I? And how is that going to affect others? We always have to be mindful of my place and how our actions affect the lives of others as well. The importance of that mentality. And last but not least, he says, quote, the more medical science progresses, the more it comprehends that hate in the form of vengeance, condemnation, resentment, envy, or hostility is the root cause of much illness, and that the unique effective medicine against such disasters of the soul is forgiveness with love. We already know this. When people have a pessimistic view, their outcomes are worse. So when we think about these teachings within the context of the Spiritist doctrine, short chapters, practical tips, you and I are here going about our day, and we want to make sure that we can be the best we can to learn those characteristics of the soul so that we can progress each and every step of the way towards being that superior spirits that God envision us, that Jesus looks at us and see the potential inside of us, and that's how we want to continue in this pathway forward. So let's forgive with love. Let's be careful and mindful of our actions throughout our days. Let's look at those who antagonize us as unearthing some truths that we are unable to see at the moment, considering the criticism, forgiving if we get hurt, because we would love to be forgiven if we hurt others, especially if we weren't intended to, right? Dear friends, this is a beautiful journey that we have with the book Green Light. And I thank you for your time, for your participation. Please feel free to leave your comments, your questions, and most importantly, share this with others so that the good can spread everywhere we are in the world. In these moments of planetary transition and the challenges we are living, we need to spread the love, the words of the Christ, and we can act with conviction that we did the best we can. So spread the good news, spread the light around you, inspire. Hope you feel inspired to apply these teachings to your daily lives and be the example that Christ wants of us, the testimony of our faith in our everyday lives. Dear friends, thank you so much for these moments together. God willing, I will see you again next week. Until then, stay well, stay safe, take care of someone else and yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.